welcome to Flooring Models. Today I've got a tool for you that I've been using for the last year, absolutely love, so I thought I'd get the next one. What we're talking about is this guy. Okay, so this is made by ALEC, up here, the AL-K32. It's the radial version, okay? So basically it's a Vortex 6-piece. It's a ninja type star, as you can see just down on here. Now, a bit of a history lesson to this. Had these now for about a year, and I think they're probably one of the handiest tools I've ever had. I use them pretty much with every single build. Basically, it's a great way of taking out deburring. So when we're talking about the sandwich area, so when you're looking at parts, you know, if this was normally you get that little bit of a lip on here like that. With this guy, you just come in, you pick your radius you want, which is probably something like that one, and it takes it out, but also it keeps the curve, so it's not like you've made a flat spot. Now traditionally, if you just come along with a knife, okay, and you give this a go, you can do it, but even there I can still feel it. Two passes like that. This guy, literally, I know I'll come along, 1, 2, and it's gone. It's smooth. That's the difference. It's a lot quicker, cleaner and simpler than anything else. Now, I use this one for doing seam lines between two bits. If you get a step and it's slightly higher, give them a rub all day long, absolutely fine. This guy down here, slightly different, as you can see. He's got angles on him, so he's great for putting in angles. So if you want little curved radiuses, if you want big scoops, square edges, things like that, or even down to doing little teeth type work, you've got all the different angles for putting this in. Again, really, really handy tool. Now, I was working on a model, to be honest, I was working on the 190, and I needed to get in between, if I just grab another one, because unfortunately we haven't got the 190 here, but on the model, as you can see it here, what we were trying to do, if I just change angle, it's basically very similar, where you've got this soft curved edge down here where the wing joins the fuselage, okay? So what I was trying to do is get in there to scrape it. I had a tiny little step between the two, okay? Couldn't really get in there very easy, so what I ended up doing was using technically a knife blade on a curved and did it with that. But I always wanted something to get in there properly. And this is where this guy comes in, because in here, we've actually got one. How do we get in these? Can't remember how we get in now. There we go, we come in through the top. Okay, and we should be able to pop this guy off. Now this looks like it's a thin piece of I can't even cut in. There we go. That's it. Metal, but at the end of the day, these are actually 1mm thick. These don't bend. When you get hold of these, you think, oh, they'd be flexible. This is the thing, these don't actually bend, they're really stiff. So what we've got here is this guy. So the great thing is, now if I wanted to do the said type of wing root in here, I would simply pick the curve I wanted, and I should be able to then get in here and carve down in there to actually take it out. So you could probably come in with, you find your particular size, in that case it'll probably be this one, all right, and I could get in here, and I'm not going to do it because I don't want to wreck it, but scrape down the actual surface and take out that area. Now this comes in to other things as well, tight little areas. So for instance, down in here where we've got these ejector pin marks, now I know that technically these aren't a problem per se, because we're never going to see it, but let's just assume they were. By coming in with these little tools here, you might see we've got a little ejector pin down there. We can just simply scrape these out. There we go. Get rid of the other light bits all around it. That ejector pin has gone there easily, okay? And we've got other ones, so we've got other little shapes, so we can, this other one up here, and we can get in to take this out. Now the other option to this would be to obviously sand it, but we'd be here forever trying to sand it. Okay, one direction, then the other. There we go. Ejector pins gone. All right, and that is the point to it. So getting into tight little areas, sort of curves like this, and you can see you get the bits come up. So you're just going to want to pick a tool that sort of marries up to what you're sort of doing. So we've got these in here, for instance. So if you wanted to get some detail out, like an ejector pin out of a tight little area, this would be great for you because you can just come in here, and because you're not using a flat edge or something like that, what it's going to do is it's going to gently give you the curves, which means you, like here, don't get the horrible mark, well, we obviously had on here, it's similar type of thing. So it just enables you to get in. Other little jobs as well, for instance, if you had ejector pins, like we haven't, but we're assume like this guy down in here, again it's on a very slight curve. So what we can do, we can take this little guy here, it's on actually maybe this one or that one, no, probably that one. Okay, we can just pick the one we want and a light rub over, so we just go one direction, and you can see normally we'd have this curve problem down the end there, but we don't have a problem. And what we're going to do is just go right way across, and that's that ejector pin gone, and it's got a nice curve to it still. It's not like you've wrecked a point. So if you were doing something, for instance, down in the back here, again, if you got this little one down in here, you can pick the right type of curve for you. Okay, so he's here, so we're just going to come along. You can go back and forth, or you can go one direction. And there we go. Simple as that. Okay, then you can use different sizes for different things and different ways round and all those things just to tidy up everything else like that. So that is the point of this particular tool. It's great for getting inside a curve, and I don't know if it shows it on the back here, but yeah, the type of things it can do is, say, it's talking about getting into curves, little do it's a deburring work off of there in this slant area, square edges as well, because again the radius is on here, we've got a 90-degree one here. Alright, so if you wanted to, you could come along, and if we just use the edge of the sprue, technically if you wanted to change this bit of sprue to having it square on the end, you can, if I can get this to go, we'll just carve it and make this square. Hopefully you can see there, that's square now on the end. Whereas, to be honest, is where these guys come in, because on these ones you've got curved ones as well, so you can make the sprue, instead of round, and I'm doing that really hard just to show you quickly, but you can see now we've got a square end to the sprue. Okay, and again you've got various ones, so if you wanted to make it curved, you can just go over it with this one now. There we go, we've made it curved and flat and everything else. So it's one of those tools that you think at the time, probably won't use it, and if I'm honest with you, I had these sitting on my shelf, did a review of them, never really used them. Slightly tricky little project, grabbed hold of it, had a go with it, and it's worked a treat ever since, so that is the thing to it. But this little guy should help me out no end for getting rid of, as I say, ejector pins in tiny little areas, inside things, stuff like that. This will definitely be my go-to tool, and also for getting into this sort of curved area on a leading edge wing, I can get this tool in here and we can go in and take it out with ease all the way through. So it just makes things like that a lot easier. So there we go, that is the ALEC one, says ALEC-K32. This is the sort of vortex 6-side one. Okay, it's your ninja star looking thing, and he will sit on here just like that. Alright, so there we go, that's that one. Definitely a really handy tool to have in your collection. Again, it's one of those tools that will probably sit there, and eventually you'll use it, and once you start using it, you'll never use anything else.